We'll be starting the Wisconsin post-game press conference. Seated to my left, we have Coach Christ, followed by Jonathan Taylor and Chris Orr. I'll open up the floor for questions after a brief opening remark from Coach Christ. Coach Christ, can you give an opening remark about this week's game and just the overall experience here at the Rose Bowl game?
Well, obviously, disappointed in the outcome of the game, and give Oregon credit. And yet, the experience, to me, it's about the game, and it was, certainly this game. I appreciate and the guys put it out there, and yet everyone knows football. Did some things that make it harder to win, and we didn't overcome that. But appreciate this team a ton, and yet would have liked to have finished it obviously differently. We didn't, but appreciate this team a ton.
Thank you, Coach. We'll now open up the floor for questions. We have mic runners on both sides. Please raise your hand and state your name and outlet when asking a question. We'll start here on the front left.
Joseph DiPolito, Newsday. I'd like to ask Paul and Jonathan first about Jack Cohn's performance. What most impressed you about the way he played? And secondly, how Oregon's speed on defense, how much of that was a factor in what you weren't able to do offensively tonight?
Well, obviously, Oregon's got a good defense, knew that coming in, and you had to earn everything you got. And, Jack, I thought, the best part about Jack is that he was himself. He's tough, he competes, incredibly selfless. He'll do anything for this team. And doesn't mean everything's always perfect, right? Never is for any player, but appreciate the way that he plays, and our guys around him know it. He'll do everything he can for him, but it's a good defense.
Yeah, adding on to Jack, from a player standpoint, he's in the huddle. He's like, we need it, guys, need it. 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. He brings us together in the huddle. He commands in the huddle, but we trust in Jack. So whenever he calls us to attention, we're right there with all ears because we know he's going to lead us to where we need to go. So I just feel like from a player standpoint, he was, like Coach said, he was very himself, and, we just trusted him all game.
We have another question in the front.
This is for the two players, I guess. 3 turnovers, 9 penalties, some mistakes on special teams. How uncharacteristic is that of you guys and as a program, and why do you think it occurred tonight?
Yeah, when you have those things happen in a game, it'll definitely hurt you. Possibly slim chance you could win, but it definitely puts you in a tough position when you have penalties, self-inflicted penalties, special teams problems, turnovers. So, but when you're playing an elite team like Oregon, a great team like that, they're going to capitalize on those mistakes. So I think that was the biggest part on us is, understanding that, we should have had to clean things up. You can't expect to win versus a team against like Oregon with turnovers, penalties, special teams issues. So, I think that definitely just played a factor in everything, not playing clean Wisconsin football.
Yeah, we just weren't as clean as we should have been. They definitely capitalized on it. Hats off to them. There's a good team over there. Whenever you're playing a good team, and you shoot yourself in the foot too many times, it definitely makes it harder and harder to win. But, at the end of the day, still need to find a way to overcome that.
We have another question on the left. Standing.
Jeff Patrigas, Journal Sentinel. For Chris, you guys were disappointed with that loss to Ohio State. I'm guessing you think that you could have won this game today. Just can you sum up what you're feeling right now, your last game here?
Hurt, disappointment. More so in myself. You feel like you let your teammates down. If you're interested in a leadership position, you feel like you let them down when you can't find a way to pull it through for them. But yeah, it's just it's a terrible feeling. This is the worst feeling in football, is to lose a game, and to know that it's your last time. It hurts even more. You hurt more for everybody else around you, more so than even yourself. So, yeah, I would probably just say hurt.
We have a question up here on the right.
Chris, based on how you how your team performed last year. You were a big part about setting the tone for this year, going into off-season workouts, obviously beginning the season. You're leaving the team. Is there something that you can do to help kickstart that process for the guys who are returning? And Jonathan, if you want to address that question however you'd like, that'd be great too.
Oh, well, really, just tell the younger guys. Why you felt laugh? I looked over. Really, when you just talk to the younger guys, you tell them you got to use this in the off season. I think that's the biggest thing. Especially, after last year, having the season that we had, kind of not the season that we wanted to have, you use that. You use that as fuel and motivation in the offseason to get bigger, stronger, faster. You get into spring ball. You start working and developing on your skills. And then when fall camp comes around, then it's time to earn your role. So I think that's the biggest thing is just using the season in your off-season workouts and spring ball.
Yeah, that's the same message that I would give everybody too. Is just to use this as fuel. It should make you mad every day. This feeling that you have right now, you should be mad, you should be hurt every day that you go in there to workouts. I told them, take everything that you wish you could have done this year in a game that we might have fell short in, everything that you wish could have happened. If you wish we finished better, then you use that as your fuel in the offseason. You need to finish everything stronger. If you need to create a turnover, whatever the case is, you need to work on that all offseason.
Okay, we have another question on the left here.
Hi, Maggie Benoni, OC Register. Question for Chris and Paul. What kind of team leader and teammate is Jonathan?
I think, Jonathan is he's everything that you'd want to be in a teammate, and I've loved seeing his progression as a leader on this team, and unbelievable care for his teammates. That's where it starts, and unbelievable example of how you approach every day. And as impressive as what he's done on the field, and it is incredibly impressive. Who he is and how he's done it is more impressive to me.
Yeah, I think his character, the type of person he is it's hard to imagine. I've told people in the interviews all the time, he's probably the humblest person I ever met. If you met him and didn't know his name, you wouldn't know that he was the greatest college running back of all time. He's always been the leader, even when he was a freshman. It was more so from action then, from his work ethic. He was always one of the hardest workers, and you appreciate that. He was always somebody who was never satisfied with anything that he's done. So you definitely appreciate that more. And then, away from football, he's a great friend. And it just makes it easier and easier to be a great teammate when you're a great friend.
Okay, we have a question up here on the right.
Question for Jonathan. Talk about the play of your offensive. Steve Finley, Culver City Papers. Jonathan, talk about the play of your offensive line today.
Yeah, really, I think we did a good job we picked up a lot of pressures today. We also had our fair share of misses today as well. I think that's the biggest thing. When you go into a game, you would love to, be spot on every single play, every single rep, play a perfect game. But of course, that's not going to happen. But that's why you work. You work to play a perfect game. But I think we did a good job at communicating. I mean, if there was something new that we haven't seen or if there was something that we missed, we were communicating. And I think that's the biggest thing. No matter what offensive line, running back, combo, anywhere around the country, as long as you're communicating, things will work out, in your favor.
Okay, we have a question right here on the left.
Kyle Boniger, ESPN.com. Paul, did you get an explanation on the offensive pass interference call, and how do you think that changed the game there?
No, I didn't.
And then with Justin Herbert's legs, what did you think about how he was able to kind of make a difference in that aspect today?
Yeah, he was effective, and obviously, knew he's really talented coming into the game, right? But he made some big plays, and certainly was a factor in him running the ball.
Question on the left.
Jeff Patrikas, Journal-Sentinel for Paul. Paul, I know the turnovers hurt, but you guys had a missed field goal. You had to settle for a field goal, and I'm sure you thought you should have got a TD. How much did those contribute to the eventual outcome today?
Huge, right? I mean, you lose by 1 point, and those are opportunities. And yet you just got to keep finding ways, and we didn't. But all those are big. We had we're driving and we get a penalty. JT has a nice run and we get a penalty and didn't overcome that. We didn't overcome ourselves.
Question up here in the front.
Paul, Mark Wicker from the Orange County Register, talking about the way Herbert ran again, and last week we saw Trevor Lawrence do it, and we're seeing a lot more of that from quarterbacks, it seems like. Why do you think that is becoming more widespread? And also, when you run against man-to-man defenses and people with their backs turned, how much more effective does that make it?
Yeah, I mean, I think, the two examples you're talking about are two really good quarterbacks in college football, right? And it fits their skill set, and obviously that's why they're two of the better quarterbacks. And yeah, anytime that the defense has their back turned, it's hard to stop that.
We have a question in the back by the cameras.
Jonathan Warren Williamson, Oregon Duck Football News, and a question for Coach as well. Regarding the two fumbles, was it something that Oregon's defense was doing? Were they swiping at the ball? Were they hitting harder? Or was it just, didn't you guys not take care of the football? And Coach, regarding Justin, did you guys game plan for him running the ball? Because typically this season he has not run.
Yeah, really, with the turnovers, no matter what the defense is doing, if you're taking care of the football, then turnovers won't happen. So poor job of taking care of the football, fighting for extra yards, trying to make sure you get the first down, keep the drive alive, and that's the biggest thing. You got to understand you have that fight, that passion in you, but at the same time, you have to use great technique with the ball.
Okay, we have a question right there in the blue jacket.
Yeah, Anthony Battaglia, WSUM Sports. This question's for Jonathan and Chris. With the way things were going, with the turnovers and the penalties, how did the momentum and the feelings change on the sideline when Aaron would set you guys up with great returns?
Oh, I mean, you get a guy electric like that, on return, you think it can go any given moment. So you're always on the edge of your seat when he's back there. You don't know if they're going to kick it to him or not. You always think that they might not kick it to him because it's not really a good idea to kick it to Cruikshank. But I think the biggest thing is we just understand that he's a playmaker, and he sets us up with great returns, and then we have to capitalize on that.
Yeah, I mean, he's a momentum shifter in himself. He gives us a sense of no panic, more so when he's back there and he's breaking off those big returns. You know that if you gave something up, he's going to set our offense up with good field position. They'll get it in there, and we'll handle our business on defense. So I think it's a calmness that he brings.
We have a question on the left right there.
Christina Tuso, CBS Milwaukee. Jonathan, I know you need some time on the future of what your career may hold, but being in the locker room, those, just a couple of minutes ago, was it kind of a surreal moment that you shared with that team?
Oh, yeah. I mean, anytime a game doesn't go your way, it's always a surreal moment. But you never want to end the season off on a loss. You always want to cap the season off with a win. So, especially in the Rose Bowl. I mean, if you get to the Rose Bowl, you definitely want to cap it off with a win. So, definitely an emotional moment in the locker room. When you have the final game of the season and you don't really come out of it with the win.
We have time for two more questions. We'll take one on the back right here.
Melissa Kim from CBS in Madison. JT, when you were coming off of the field with Madison, you got a lovely little ovation from the fans that were still up in the stands waiting for you. What has it meant to you to be part of this team and just this city, this town, this state for the last 3 years?
It's been amazing. Everyone always asks me about Camp Randall, but Camp Randall is just a stadium. It's just like any other stadium, but it's the people that fill the stadium. It's the fans that take the time out of their jobs, their daily lives, day in and day out, to spend their hard-earned money to come and watch us, play the game that we love. So it's definitely the fans that make Camp Randall what it is. And, coming out here, I mean, we travel well. I mean, they made it feel just like Camp Randall today.
This will be our final question on the left.
Jeff Patrigas, Journal Sentinel for Chris. Paul answered one of my questions by saying we couldn't overcome ourselves, and I'm sure you want to give Oregon credit, but is that kind of summarize how this game went today, not being able to overcome all the mistakes, offense, defense, special teams?
I mean, I think it's a combination of that. It's a combination of the mistakes that you make. Not only people love to point out the turnovers, but it's not just that. Like we misfit some stuff on defense. You have the little things that people don't notice. When you're just watching the game. But I think it's a combination of them being a really good team and then us making mistakes as well.
Thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate it.